Alienness, Illuminati, all through your body. The blows like a 12-gauge shot. Feel me? And God
Good
said he
evening,
should send
family.
his one begotten son to lead
You're listening
us
to
wild
your
into
favorite
the
girl,
ways.
Spirit Child.
Follow me.
And in the studio this
Eat
evening
my flesh,
on
flesh of my
Spirit
flesh.
Speaks,
Come with me.
we have my good friend,
Run quick, see
April Phillips,
what
in the
you
house.
have here now.
Hello.
And she's sultry. This is episode number 2 of Spirit Speaks in our new series called Finding Ourselves. So, my sister friend girl over here is in the studio with me this evening, and we feeling somewhat kind of crunked, in case y'all couldn't tell. So, sis, Spirit Speaks is a conversation about finding ourselves. And what I want you to tell the family this evening is your story. Or in other words, tell the family who you are.
Where do I begin? The beginning?
At the beginning.
Or the beginning of the beginning?
At the beginning of the beginning.
Well,
Come closer to the mic.
I'm sorry.
You okay?
I'll edit that.
That's
out.
what we can edit.
Okay, good.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
we
go.
can hear you. There you go.
Are we good?
We're good.
All right. I would say my journey started the day I was born.
Okay, right.
And I was born into probably what people would think was not so good, but it was good for me because it was my builder. It was my first brick, my first window. And I was born into a mom that wasn't so much a nurturer. And I remember it. That's the thing. I remember being a baby. And I was dropped off when I was 3 days old. And to who my father was supposed to be at that time. So we're going to skip ahead, and you know, it wasn't the greatest situation all the time. She eventually came back and got me, and she paid some other people to take care of us. And that was kind of the start of my pain. But my pain was my gain eventually. So, speed ahead, 12 years. I'm living back with my dad at that time, and I had a vision, I would say, or what's called clairaudience, which is a voice inside telling me that I had something to do, that I had this purpose, but it didn't clarify the purpose. So I spent the next many years searching for that purpose, and that was the one thing that saved me from everything else that was going on in my life, just that purpose, knowing there was one.
Okay. So
Eventually I was on my own at 15, experiencing experiences.
uh-oh. That sound like a story inside of a story.
Right. Much too long to tell, but it brought a lot of pain. It was mostly pain. But it's okay, because those are my other bricks and some of my foundation. And eventually, I'm 15. I'm on my own. I eventually get to a place where I'm stable, but I'm still not stable. Because you can be physically stable, but mentally unstable. And
That's very true.
And that's where I was. I was throwing myself all these parties. And I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're called pity parties.
Yes.
Yeah, constantly throwing myself one. And when I was 25, I had an epiphany. And there's that voice again telling me that you don't get to choose your experiences. Your experiences are building you for your purpose. So what you need to do is go back and reflect on everyone and every experience and figure out the whys. And once you understand the whys, then you can understand how. So that's what I did. I broke down every situation, every person. I had to not only understand myself, but I had to understand them. So once I understood them, I understood why all of this needed to occur. Because I liked me at that time at 25. So everything that had occurred built me. So at that time, I thought I was great. I thought, okay, I'm good now. And I still was moving, but still very blessed, still going through, ups and downs, but really blessed. But I felt a guilt, like a sense of guilt for not still fulfilling this purpose. And so I would have my moments where, like, why am I so blessed, but yet I'm not doing anything to deserve this? And fast forward 30 years, not 30 years, but I'm 30 in my 30s, and then in my 40s. And when I get in my 40s, it's a whole different experience. I start completely just self-reflecting. I didn't even see anybody else. I just saw myself. And I'm breaking down everything again of me. And I'm realizing that there's something still that I need to do, that I'm still not whole. I'm still like maybe a 50% person. But at my 50%, I was still vibrating pretty high, but I'm still 50%. So what can I do and what can I give at 50%? You dividing yourself amongst the people that you're surrounded by, but you only have 50% to give. And then what do you keep for yourself? So when I was 46, December 26th, 2013, I had a moment, and it's an indescribable moment, because it felt like I had left my body for 3 days, and I called it, I transcended myself. And at that very moment, like, everything disappeared. Like, my understanding was so clear. Everything was so clear. I understood everything, all the whys, all the hows. There was no what ifs. That was the fear. It was gone. Everything was very clear to me. But I still wasn't whole. So I had to go and start redeeming myself and filling voids within myself. And the only way I could do that was to go back and apologize to people that I had hurt, thank people that had helped me, thank people that had hurt me. And whatever voids I had, I started to fill. And that made me more of a spirit, of a soul. The 50% wasn't my physical humanness. It was my soul that needed to be filled. That was what was going to make me 100%. So I started just constantly working on redeeming myself and trying to fill all those voids. And I did it. I feel like I did it. And knowledge just started coming through me. Like, I used to read a lot. I used to study constantly. But then I found myself at a place where I didn't need any of that. That the knowledge was just coming through me through visuals, through dreams, just through awakeness. It was.
So when you begin to feel this knowledge, what did you call it? Where was the source?
I called it universal knowledge. The knowledge of everything.
The knowledge of everything, but was it also a knowledge of self?
Well, it was a knowledge of self that connected me to the universal knowledge. So it was knowing myself that enabled me to open up enough for knowledge to flow through me, because the knowledge was already there. It was basically recorded onto my DNA, and I tapped in and activated.
So the rabbit hole does go deeper.
Wow.
All right, sis. That was a great intro. But I think the family wants to know a little bit more.
Okay, now.
So, we do these sessions unscripted because I want it to come from the heart. Because in the journey of finding ourselves, we have to dig a little bit deeper. So I'm going to probe.
I'm transparent.
Oh, I know this, darling. And just know it's a safe place.
Okay.
Because in finding ourselves, the transformation not only helps you as an individual be a better you, but along the way, we hope to help someone else who will eventually hear this broadcast.
To serve man.
All right, then. That's what I'm talking about. So you said that there were some challenges. So let me ask you, what was the time in your life when you felt you were less productive?
I was homeless for 1.5 years. So I would say that was, even though I was young, I could only think about survival, physical survival. So therefore, when you are only focused on your physical means and your physical self and trying to preserve your physical self, you can't be productive to anything. Because if you try to, because you're trying to survive. So therefore, that's your only focus. There's no focus of doing anything great, creating anything. It's about eating, drinking, and breathing.
Right. So that in of itself is a journey.
Of course.
What led you to become in this particular state?
What led me to become in this state?
Homeless.
Oh, I ran away from home. So I had been molested by at that time, who I thought was my dad. So I've always been a person that goes on feelings. If it don't feel right, take flight. And that's what I did.
I like that. I'm probably going to steal that just so you know.
Right.
But that's a good, they need to write that into the stranger danger. I'm just saying.
Right. Exactly. That's what it is. We all know. We just all don't pay attention.
Right. So would you say that the insight came relatively early for you, or was it in this difficult aspect of life? Did it become more apparent, the need to be free?
No, my insight was always there, because I think of being a 2-year-old and the feelings I got about people. And in retrospect, they were right then at 2. So my insight has always been there. And my insight is probably what has saved my life so many times.
Show you right.